morning and welcome back to another edition of the Journal. I'm heading east today. I want to go do a quick hike. It's not really that quick. It's not that far and it's not that difficult. It's just a long drive to get to it. It's technically an Anza Borrego Desert State Park, and got to get the video on a cheap wave. Got to get the video up before the sun reaches the top of the mountain here, because once it does, it's going to be in all shadows like the last video. Anyway, I'm going to go to a place. It's a place probably nobody goes to. It's not a mountain peak per se. In fact, the trail for it is not really a trailhead. There was a trailhead. It's called Sunrise Trailhead out in kind of Laguna Mountain area, just south and east of Julian, and that's the Sunrise Trailhead, which is basically the trailhead for the P.C.T. P.C.T. runs north and south, runs right by there, right across the street. But I'm not going on the P.C.T. on the desert side. I'm going to be going on the west side of the trailhead. And I don't know the name of the trail. I don't even know if there is a name for it. But I do have it on the map. And the reason I'm going there, it kind of follows along the ridgeline. And it goes to a place that I saw on the map called the Rattlesnake Benchmark. How's that for a name? A Rattlesnake Benchmark. If you don't know if there's any rattlesnakes, I kind of doubt it. Because right now it's 35 degrees here in Texas, so I'm freezing my ass off right now. I got the heater on, but it hasn't kicked in yet. That's the one bad thing about being in a Jeep. You know, it's drafty and windy and noisy, and that's what you get when you buy a Jeep, I guess. But anyway, this hike got to be about 6 miles round trip. It's not too bad. And the good thing about it is it's only got an elevation gain of about 935 feet or something like that. So it won't be too bad. So you figure, 1 miles or something to the top, and then 3.1 back, something like that. And from what I've gathered, I'm going to have some spectacular views from the top, overlooking everything to the south and east. So I'm looking forward to that. There's no trees, there's no shade, but I'm not going to need it today because the daytime highs, I think even up there, it's only supposed to be in the low 70s, and I don't even know if I'm even going to get that. So, but the one thing that is going to be interesting, if I can swing it, depending on how much time I got, on the way back, I'm going to drive right by the Julian Brewing Company, Nickel Brewing, I think is what it's called, and I brought my growler, so I'm going to fill it up. Maybe that'll be my my beer for the holidays this season. Well, anyway, it's a gorgeous sunrise this morning. Deep, rich orange colors coming up through the clouds over to the east, overlooking Anza Borrego, and there's a lot of vapor trails. There's a possibility of some Santa Ana winds coming in later this afternoon. I don't know if it'll hit it by the time we get down from there. I guess we'll see. But so far, there's a lot of clouds out here, which is kind of strange. But anyway, I'm not wearing the kilt today. I'm wearing regular hiking clothes, so it won't be as festive, I guess. But anyway, I just wanted to get out and get some exercise in before the holidays settle in, because Katie's coming in from Florida in 2 days, and we're excited about that. So a lot of good family time. Their daughter Lindsay should be coming down as well. So kind of slowing down that downhill slope toward Christmas. Can't wait. Well, anyway, stick around, and I'll catch up with you in a little bit when I get probably closer to Julian. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll see some turkeys in Warner Springs, or maybe even in Julian. So, and we might even see a turkey while we're up on the hike today. Well, anyway, I'll see you in a few minutes. Well, good morning, and welcome to Anza Borrego Desert State Park. Kind of right on the cusp of Anza Borrego Desert State Park on that side of the road, and Cleveland National Forest on this side of the road. And we're at the Sunrise Trailhead. And the Sunrise Trailhead is actually the trailhead for the Pacific Crest Trail. It's right across the street. And it heads north and south from Mexico all the way to Canada. But we're going to be going on this side, across the street, and up this trail. There's a sign that says La Cima Trail, or La Cima Trail. I didn't see that anywhere on all trails. Basically, this is just the trail that's going to get me up to my destination today, which is Rattlesnake Benchmark. It's not a peak, just a benchmark. But they put the benchmark on top of the peak, so it kind of is. Well, anyway, going to be heading up the trail, heading west to Rattlesnake Benchmark. Well, I parked at the Sunrise Trailhead, and it's basically the trailhead for the P.C.T. There's a sign, P.C.T. right there, and then here's another one Pacific Crest Trail, 0.3 miles. So if you head this way, that's the Anza Borrego Desert off on the other side of the hill there. But we're not going that way. We're going this way. We're going across the street, and we're going to work our way up to the Rattlesnake Benchmark today. It's off that direction somewhere. Well, this is the trail I'm going to be taking, the La Cima Trail, heading that way. And not wearing the kilt today, just wearing normal hiking clothes. And it's a little chilly here today, a little chillier than I thought it would be. I think they said the temperature, the starting temperature was supposed to be about 45 or so, 47, and it was supposed to get to a daytime high of about 70, 73. So we'll see if that's what it turns out to be, because driving in, coming through Orange Springs, they had 29. And even just down the road a few miles, it was 35. So it's probably 38 right here, I'm going to say. But the sun is up. Looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day. And I'm testing out a new pack today. This is just a small little day pack. And what's nice about this one, it doesn't have a waist belt. And it does have 2 water bottle pockets. It's got a top lid pocket that has room for like your cell phone, your keys, your sunglasses, whatever you might want to put up there that you need access to pretty quick. And it's got enough room in there to carry your normal day pack supplies. And the best thing about it is that, believe it or not, it's from Skechers, the shoe place. I was at the outlet center with my wife, and she was looking at shoes, and I saw some backpacks on the wall, and they had a bunch of them. And they were mostly, book bags for kids. And I saw this one. I thought, that's kind of nice. I like the color. I like the shape. And it was like $70. It was marked down to $19. So how can you beat that? So I thought, this is a perfect hike, perfect pack to take on a hike like this. But a 6-mile hike, you're just carrying less than 2 liters of water, just enough supplies to get you to the summit and back. It's super lightweight. It weighs hardly anything. And I ought to be moving pretty quick today. Well, anyway, I'm going to be heading up the trail. I got to keep an eye on all trails on the map, because I printed 2 maps and I left them on home on the desk. It's like, God damn it. Anyway, so it should be pretty easy to follow. I'm just going to head up this way, up to the top. I don't know if it's one of those peaks over there. It could very well be. I know there's some rocky outcrops on the top, so we'll see. Well, anyway, I'm heading that way. I guess I'm going down the La Cima Trail. It says Upper Green Valley Trail 1.2, the Fages Monument 2.6, and the California Riding and Hiking Trail, and the Los Vaqueros Camp 4.5. I'm not going that far, but we'll see. Anyway, let's head down the trail. Oh, I'm so light. Now I noticed just on the other side of the parking area, there are these pipe corrals. So I have a feeling that this area is probably used quite a bit for equestrians. They're actually taking this trail sort of along the P.C.T. on the edge of it. Looks like a nice area. And so while you're taking your break, you can put your horses in there and don't have to worry about them. Anyway, let's head down the trail. Well, I've only got a short distance, and I'm looking at this thing. What is this? Can anybody tell me? It looks like it's got tie-off points on the ends. And if I didn't know any better, you'd think it was one of those mines they drop off the ships, and they drop it down to try to blow up the submarines like in World War II. Or maybe it's something that they tie to the bottom and they keep them just below the surface so the ships run into them as they're traversing the channels. So I don't know. But it's like there's a solar panel right here and a big water tank right here. And I can hear inside, I can hear water bubbling. So maybe this is a pipe that there's an exit over here and an exit here that go underground. And it looks like it might go to that guzzler over there to keep it full. I don't know. Pretty interesting. Oh, here we go. Here's a sign that says unsafe drinking water. So I don't know. Don't know what this is, but I'm sure you could drink it if you filtered it, Boy, it's pretty out here. Very slight breeze. And with these golden grasses and the green hills, it's gorgeous out here. But on the trail 2 minutes and I already like it. Okay, well, I'm glad I brought all trails. I'm glad I looked at the map, because this very well marked nice trail is not the trail. This is probably the one that goes to the Vaquero camp and all that. The one I want to take is over there. And if it wouldn't have been for all trails, I obviously walked right by this. So this is the trail. It's a little more overgrown, so we'll see where this goes. I'll keep an eye on my map and make sure I'm on the right route. Well, you know, this trail is not nearly as well marked as the other one. It's a lot narrower. And the one thing about this trail, if it's the right trail to begin with, is it's an out and back trail. It's not a loop. So it's about 3 miles to where I'm heading, and then 3 miles back. So it looks like, since this is more overgrown, I'll definitely have to look for ticks when I get back, and I'll definitely have to keep an eye out on snakes, but I think it's too cold. So we'll see. Hopefully this trail doesn't wash out and turn into be a bushwhack, you know what I mean? But the weather out here is gorgeous. It's nice and cool, probably in the low 40s, upper 30s. It's really nice. Well, I have gotten off trail twice in 100 yards. That tells you this might be a route finding day. But I can see I'm looking kind of south and a little bit east, and I can see a bunch of jagged boulders up on top. And I have seen some pictures from other people that have hiked this trail, and it looks like that's where I'm headed. There's several peaks. It looks like it's a little bit of a up and down, so we'll see. That's probably not where my eventual destination is. I'm sure it's on the other side of that, but anyway, as long as I can find the trail, that'll be fine. Well, this is a scenic little valley that I just came to. Real small little meadow in between the peaks. And I could see some wildlife here. You know, I could see deer, bobcats, mountain lions, coyotes, foxes. You never know. And since this trail's overgrown, I can tell hardly anybody ever comes out here. Based on all trails, there was only about 8 reviews for this trail, and there was only 40 pictures total. They were all basically the same thing. So maybe I'll get lucky and see something good today. Since it's also winter, this is also tarantula season, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a tarantula out roaming around looking for a mate. I guess we'll see as we get further down the trail. Okay, this is some pretty big scat right here. That is not a dog. It's got berries in it. I'm gonna lean toward that's a mountain lion. I'm gonna have to start looking for tracks, because dog scat is real small and skinny, and that is not. And house, you know, regular domesticated dogs, they don't eat manzanita. So I'm gonna have to start looking for prints. Yeah, I gotta keep my eyes open. It's not new, it's not fresh. It's been there at least a week, probably 4 or 5 days, so I gotta keep my eyes open. Mountain lions have a huge range, so, you know, just because he takes a dump here, he could be 50 miles away by now. Doesn't mean I'm not looking. Well, there's that mountain lion scat. I am going to have to keep my eyes open for some prints. Ground's pretty hard. That's shoe prints there. This type of ground cover doesn't lend itself to prints real well, but if I happen to come across a sandy section or a moist section, maybe I can get lucky. You know, as fun as it might be to buy Mylar balloons for your kids for the birthday, for holidays, happy birthday. These Mylar balloons are horrible for the environment. They choke wildlife that ingests them somehow, and they do damage to the vegetation. So try not to use Mylar balloons. When you release them, you know, they don't go to heaven. They really don't. They go 100 miles or 200 miles, and then they lose their air, their helium, and then they end up out here in the woods. So I'm going to pack this out, put it in my back pocket, carry this out so we don't have to worry about at least this one as we continue up the trail toward the Rattlesnake Benchmark. All right, well, I reached this little sub-peak after quite the little short climb. I'm out of breath. I'm heating up too. But it makes you wonder how that got there. And number two, how's it staying there? We're going to take a better look at it here in a second. Well, I'm looking off toward the east along the trail, and now I'm heading south, and I think that peak with that sharp pointy boulder on the top, I believe that's Rattlesnake Benchmark up there somewhere. But I am enjoying these sub-peaks that also have their own incredible boulder groupings. And the trail is, it's not getting worse, but it's doable. But like I said earlier, this is not a trail I'd want to be doing in shorts or a kilt. Well, here's a better look at it from this angle. It doesn't look as exciting, but we do have quite the view building to our left. That's the meadow down there that I came from. And way off in the distance, you can see the water tower down there. So I've come a ways. And there are more exciting boulders as we head further up. Okay, on this rock, there is a heart. I'm assuming that's not natural, but I don't see any graffiti, so kind of hard to tell. Well, I believe that down there is most likely Rattlesnake Valley. I wonder how it got its name, huh? And there's a sharp point on the left, and there's a big rock outcrop straight ahead. So I imagine one of those two is probably where the benchmark is. We have our first view looking over the top of the mountains down toward Anza Borrego now. I can see that really well. And there's a big peak right there. I think that's North Peak over there, and I think that one is Middle Peak. Middle Peak is on my bucket list. So is North Peak, but Middle Peak is a little higher, and Middle Peak doesn't seem that exciting. So anyway, more fabulous boulders. There's going to be even more down there. See, here's another print. And up that way, somewhere up on top of that is the Rattlesnake Benchmark. Well, as I came up, I was kind of bushwhacking a little bit. I had to come up through some pretty dense, thick patches of manzanita. And I came to this cut along the side of the hill. And I saw this cut from way down there. And looks like this might have been a fire road at one time, maybe. I'm not sure. But from this angle, I think that peak over there, that could very well be Cuyamaca Peak, because it's got antennas on it. There's a bunch of radar sites and a bunch of communication equipment on the top. I know that for a fact because I've been there. So that could very well be Middle Peak over here, and that could be North Peak. And also way off in the distance that direction, you won't be able to see it on the camera, but I can see the white dome of Palomar and the valley. So I don't know from here where Rattlesnake Benchmark is. Let me pull it up here on All Trails and show you where I'm at. The little blue dot, if you can see that, is where I am. And it looks like it's around the corner and then kind of over that way a little bit. Doesn't seem too far. But anyway, nice little level stretch with a view. Take advantage of it. Catch my breath. I had to take my jacket off. I was getting too hot. At least there's not as much brush. I was head high in Manzanita back there in that little draw, and it was pretty bad. So it's definitely going to be tick check time when I get home. Boy, last 100 yards has taken a decidedly steep and sandy trail. I'm getting there. And sagebrush was armpit high. I have to go over both of those peaks in the background. It was 1, 2. I'm in between the rocky one and the one with no rocks. So, but it looks like where I'm going is just around the corner, so it's not too bad. I'm making really good time. It's only 10:20. Left trail about 9. So it's not too bad. Got plenty of time. Oh, tired now. Getting hot. It looks like I've come up over that rise, 3rd or 4th false summit. And it looks like maybe up there could very well be Rattlesnake Benchmark. Looks like I'm going to be going that way and then making a right. You know, it's funny, on the map, it's showing a pond. I'm going to go just to the left of a pond. Well, I think this is the pond, according to the map. So obviously there's no water in it now. Not this time of year. Well, I'm breathing pretty heavy now. This is steep. And up there is the Rattlesnake Benchmark. And way off in the distance to the south, it's like we got a fire brewing. This is my view from the top of the peak. The Rattlesnake Benchmark is behind me. I'll go get a shot of that here in a minute. There's some magnificent boulders here. Pretty good view from the summit, I would say. Well, I made it to the top of a Rattlesnake Benchmark. And the benchmark, you would think would be right here, but it's not. It's actually on a flat rock right over there. There's also a metal pole over there. I'll look around here, see if there's something else, but this spot right here has the best view. It's only 10:35. Made it up here an hour and a half. That's not bad. But what I do have up here to celebrate my peak accomplishment today. Ooh, this is nice and cold. This is a Chief Peak India Pale Ale. I'll show this to you. Check this out. This right there is a Chief Peak India Pale Ale from Topa Topa Brewing Company. So I'm gonna go sit on a rock over here, take a good break because I deserve it. Oh, this is a great spot too for a break. Oh man, sit up here, have my ice cold IPA. Uh-oh. Foaming up. Yeah, I know it's only 10:30, but I deserve this one. Looks like the fire over there is finally starting to dissipate a little bit. I think they've got a handle on it. There's a nice big meadow over there too. I do have to send my wife a in-reach message to let her know that I made it up here to the peak, or to the top of Rattlesnake Benchmark. It's warmed up a bit right now. Very, very little perceptible breeze. That's it. But man, I had to do some bushwhack, and I'm definitely going to have to do a tick check. Since I have dark colored clothing, if the ticks are light colored, I'll be able to see them pretty well. If they're dark, I'm going to have a tough time. So I'm definitely going to have to take a good look when I get home. Hiking pants work great. They just brushed right off the manzanita and the sharp thorns and stickers that were there. And they're flexible. They have a lot of probably spandex in them or something. And they're flexible and they breathe really well. They're from Eddie Bauer. And pack actually worked really well. I was really surprised. What's nice about it, especially today, is it's got a narrow profile. So when you're going through the manzanita, you're not hanging up in stuff. But I didn't expect to see anybody on the trail today, and sure enough, I haven't. I haven't seen any wildlife. I haven't seen a lizard, a tarantula, a snake. I've seen 3 or 4 birds, and that's it. I really thought I would have seen more because I know nobody hikes up here. I did see several what I believe is mountain lion footprints, and I think that because the brush is so thick, animals aren't stupid. Mountain lions, bobcats, coyotes, deer, whatever is the least path of resistance is what they're going to take. So, you don't think, oh yeah, mountain lion's going to stay on the trail. Well, he might not stay on the trail, but he'll use the trail to his advantage in areas where it's really thick. So I think that's why I was seeing, the footprints where I did. And not too far from here is Julian and the Vulcan Mountain Trail. And me and Lindsay saw a mountain lion last year. So they're definitely up here in this region. But anyway, I'm going to take a good 15-20 minute break up here. Enjoy my IPA from Chief Peak. Actually from Topa Brewing Company. Have a snack and then start heading back to the car. It's only about 10 days before Christmas, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have to look that peak up with the antennas on it, because maybe that's not Cuyamaca. I thought it was, but it might not be. I did bring almost 2 liters of water, and then this is probably a 25-ounce can. Actually, I think it says 17.2 or 19.2. I don't have my glasses on. Anyway, it's nice and cool up here. I'm going to enjoy my time up here. Well, anyway, I'm not going to shoot too much video going back unless something happens. So I might even post this one before the Mojave Preserve hike. I don't know. We'll see what the video footage looks like when I get back. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode of the Hiking Journal. My trip up along the La Cima Trail, I guess is what it's called, from Sunrise Trailhead, right off of Sunrise Highway, near the P.C.T, but not on the P.C.T. And took this hike up at the top to see the Rattlesnake Benchmark. And I'll go shoot some video of the benchmark over there. And I'm also going to scout around. There's an interesting rock over there and another one over there. So I'll spend 15-20 minutes kind of wandering around and see what I can capture on the video. Well, anyway, you guys take care. And have a nice 2025. It's coming up right around the corner. You know what's funny? While I'm sitting up here enjoying my beer, the visibility is so good right now. I can actually see San Gorgonio and the San Bernardino National Forest way off in the distance, and to the right I can see San Jacinto of all things. And I think that is Rabbit Peak over to the right. I can't really tell. Actually, that's probably Toro Peak. And Santa Rosa Mountain, and then to the right of that is the peak. And boy, they must have hit another patch of good fuel over there, because now that smoke cloud is really billowing up nice and dark now, so that's a bad thing. But well, I hope everybody's ready for Christmas. I know I am. I didn't have a whole lot on my Christmas list, because by now, all the hiking I've done, I've got pretty much everything there is known to man that I need. So there was one thing that was on my Christmas list that I wanted. It's been on my list for several years, and I've always put it off, and I decided this time I was going to do it. I ordered a pair of Steger mucklucks, and those are mucklucks that are rated to 2040 below zero. So I'm anxious to go try those out this winter, maybe do a winter camp, do a snow camp maybe. Get out my pyramid shelter and fire up my hot stove. I haven't done that, so maybe this year will be the year. Well, this is the official Rattlesnake Benchmark. To give you an idea where it's at, it's not the highest point on the rim. That's up there. That's where I was taking my break. But at least I found the benchmark. Now I decided to get you about a 270-degree view here from the top of the Rattlesnake Benchmark. That's looking due north, way off in the distance is San Gorgonio and San Jacinto. That's looking north and east as it works its way into Anza Borrego. This is continuing to the east. And this is looking more south and east as you're working your way toward Monument Peak. Garnet. And this is decidedly south toward the Laguna Mountain Recreation Area. And I still believe that is Cuyamaca Peak. And in fact, I know that's Cuyamaca Peak because that rocky peak right there, that's Stonewall. So there you go. All right, well, I didn't video this on the way out, but this is my Bushwack on the way to Rattlesnake Benchmark. Some places it's a little more open, some places it's pretty tight. But you can see there's not a whole lot of trail here. And that's why I say you have to really be cognizant of the fact that there could very well be ticks here. I mean, look at this. I'm definitely going to have to do a tick check when I get back to the car. There are some open patches, which aren't too bad, but still, I'm probably a good solid mile from the car still. I'm getting there. This is one of the few rock cairns along the way. You need to pay attention. There's only a couple of them, but this is important. This is actually heading down the trail, so you'll see this on the left side coming up. Well, the route finding on this one is kind of difficult. There's a rock cairn right down there, and the trail looks like it goes that way. It doesn't. It goes this way. There's no signs. But I know that's where I came from because I can see, well, I really can't see from here, but the water tower is that way, so that's where I know I need to go. Well, I just missed a turn somewhere, and I got 50 yards off track, 50 feet off track. Thank God for all trails. So I went left, followed the little blue dot on all trails, and I got back on this, which is now the trail. Gotta really pay attention. It took like 5 seconds, and I was 50 feet off the trail. And trying to work your way through manzanita and steep pea gravel like this is rough. So you do have to pay attention. I don't know if a map and GPS would do it justice, but I tell you what, having All Trails, the pro version where you can download the offline maps, that's a lifesaver. Because once I get down to the bottom, I'll be in that pretty little meadow, and then it ought to be a little easier to find. But this spot right here was the tough spot. Even coming up, I got twisted around a little bit. So it looks like I'm into a more open spot now, so I think I should be pretty good. All right, well, I think I've worked my way through most of the manzanita. Now I'm down to the open meadow as it works its way through the meadow and up and out the other side toward the water tower. And that guzzler and that weird landmine looking thing. And then from there, I'm not too far from the car. It's gone pretty quick going downhill. There were some uphill sections, but persevered. I did get off trail 3 separate times. 3 times. And if I wasn't paying attention to my all trails, I would have been in a world of hurt. So thank God for long pants and the ability to recognize where I'm not supposed to be. So I should be back to the water tank here in about 10 minutes and then maybe 20 minutes back to the car. Text my wife and let her know I made it safely back to the car, which is always important. And it was a good hike. It was a little steep in spots. It was a little loose in spots and overgrown in spots. But the views were tremendous at the top at the Rattlesnake Benchmark, and it was a great spot to take a break. Have a lunch. I didn't really have a lunch. I just had a beer, but I do have some snacks in the car. It didn't take that long. I left the trailhead at 9, and I got back at noon, 10 after 12. So not too bad. It was a great day. I'll take it, especially here in December. All right, let's head out of here. Let's get to Julian. Let's refill my growler. Well, the Nickel Brewing Company is closed. They don't open for another half hour, but I just went over and wiggled the door and it was open. The guy's in there, and he said he's in the process of opening. So I said, take my time, and maybe I'll go in there and be able to try a beer or two and refill my growler. Well, I made it inside the Nickel Brewing Company. They're not technically open, but he was nice enough to open the door early for me, and there's another guy that was here early too. And we're all excited to refill our growlers for the holiday season. The other guys, they had a couple of, they had a Border Collie and an Australian Shepherd, and they were in a big adventure van. They were heading down to Anza Borrego. So I'm going to see, I might try 1 or 2, and then I'm going to get my growler refilled. Looking forward to this. Well, I just left the Nickel Brewing Company in Julian, and now I'm actually in the town of Julian. When I pulled up into the parking lot, I was really upset because there was a big sign on the window, closed. The Nickel Beer Company was closed. I go, God damn it. I drove all that way, and I had my growler in the car, and I thought, it's just not worth coming all the way back up here for that. And I thought, well, you know what, I'm gonna go knock on the door and see if there's anybody here. There was a car in the parking lot, and I thought, well, you know, maybe there's somebody here. So I pulled open the door, and sure enough, it opened. And I'm making the turn now onto Highway 78, I guess it is. And he was in there, and he was running around like crazy. He was putting out all of the signs and all the things he needs to do to open up the Nickel Brewing Company. There was another guy in there that was getting a growler filled. So I thought, well, hey, he's getting a growler filled. Why don't I try it? So anyway, Levi said, yeah, he'd be right back. He's got to put up the Santa because it is Christmas. And he filled up my growler. I got a couple of tastings from some other beers, but the one I really liked was the Stonewall Stout. It's a dark beer. It's a holiday beer for Christmas. Not really a holiday beer. It's just a dark beer. But hey, for me, it's a stout for Christmas. So anyway, so I filled up my 32-ounce growler from Nickel Brewing Company. Now I'm heading home. Now I got to call the wife real quick. I got to see if she wants me to stop by the Julian Pie Company and maybe pick up another Dutch apple for Christmas. It seems like we just had that, so we might skip it. But we also got to go by the Dudley Bakery, and they have that rosemary parmesan bread that's really good. And they also have like a sheepherder bread and some other ones there that are just phenomenal. So when I get down the hill here, I'm going to give her a buzz and see if she wants me to make a stop or two. If not, I'll be heading home. And just so you know, I did bring back the balloon.